morning and welcome back.
We're so excited to be bringing you Season 4 of Pointer Pack News.
We've got a lot of new faces, so for Episode 1, we'd like to introduce you to everybody.
We're glad to be here on one of the greatest Fridays in the school year, Battle of the Bone.
This episode is a little heavy. We're trying to catch you guys up on everything that you've missed over the past couple of weeks. So without further ado, here is Episode 85 of Pointer Pack News.
Congratulations to the Pointer Yearbook staff. The 2021 Pointer Yearbook received an Award of Excellence from Walsworth Publishing.
This is a huge deal for us. The Pointer of the Yearbook has not received any publishing awards for many years. They have worked hard to bring up the quality of the yearbook to high school publishing standards while increasing of the coverage of our students and community.
The 2021 Pointer Yearbook will appear in the Walsworth Gallery of Excellence and will be featured at regional, state, and national conventions in the Possibilities Idea Book, Walsworth Yearbook Suite Curriculum, and the Idea File magazine.
Last but not least, for your school news, we are starting student badges for this year. By the end of September, each student will be signed their color-coordinated badges.
It's been a long time coming, but these were suggested to help identifying students who leave throughout the day for WOTC or because they're a senior with early release.
Welcome back to a little VBHS Sports.
Let's catch you up on any games you may have missed.
Last week, volleyball played Bentonville West at home and made an incredible comeback in 5 sets. And then they played Southside and unfortunately lost in 4 sets. And then they played Rogers and lost in 3 sets.
Also, last week, the tennis played an amazing game against Springdale. The boys and girls won both of their games. It was so amazing.
Football played Friday night against Springdale and won 36-24. Go Dogs.
Last Friday night, the cross-country team had an amazing run-a-thon. There was a great turnout.
Grab your calendars. Here's what's coming up next week. Volleyball plays at home Tuesday versus Greenbrier, with JV playing at 4:30 and Thursday in Greenwood at 4:30.
Tennis plays Tuesday in Russellville at 3:30 and Thursday in Alma at 4 o'clock.
Golf plays Tuesday at Ben Guerin versus Northside and Southside at 3:30. Golf also plays Thursday at Eagle Crest versus Alma at 3:30.
And football plays Friday at home versus Rogers Heritage at 7.
And lastly, today is one of our biggest games of the year, Battle of the Bone. Wear your black because the game starts at 7 p.m. tonight at Blakemore Field.
VB has taken home the Bone the past 3 years. This year it's looking like we'll be taking it home for the 4th time in a row.
Good luck to cheer, dance, band, and football. We will be there supporting you guys.
Stay tuned to our Instagram as we plan to do a few live interviews and updates throughout the game.
Don't forget, if you can't make the game, you can check out live stream through VBSD Pointer Media on YouTube.
And last but not least, please send us any photos and videos from the night. DM them to our Instagram to be featured next week on PPN episode 86.
As you've probably heard by now, Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine received full approval from the FDA last week, becoming the first U.S.-made vaccine to move beyond emergency use authorization.
More mandates rolled. New York City and New Jersey announced last Monday that all public school employees will be required to get vaccinated.
Ohio State University, Goldman Sachs, and Disney Cruise Line announced vaccine mandates.
Line is also working against the Delta strand, slapping a $200 monthly surcharge on the health insurance premiums of unvaccinated employees starting November 1st.
United is mandating vaccinations of its employees within 5 weeks of the vaccine's full approval.
American Airlines, on the other hand, has said it will not require vaccinations.
The Pentagon also announced that a vaccine mandate for all service members would be introduced ASAP.
Pfizer will be able to officially market its vaccine by its real name, Comirnaty, a combination of the words community, immunity, mRNA, and COVID. When it received full approval in the UK, Moderna chose.
Speaking of the UK and COVID updates, the folks across the pond are implementing a new app called Test and Trace that sends people close contact notifications.
Ignoring these messages and continuing to socialize normally could result in a fine ranging from roughly $1,400 to $14,000.
In the week of July 18th to 14th, about 620,000 people across England and Wales received a message from the app telling them to self-isolate for 10 days per the UK National Health Association.
Last week, the UK said that fully vaccinated workers would be exempt from the ping notification.
For your world news, we'll begin with explaining how the US has pulled out of Afghanistan. Since 2001, the U.S. has been a presence in Afghanistan, holding the Taliban at bay and allowing for roughly 20 years of peace and progress.
Recently, the Biden administration pulled U.S. troops, and only 45 days after the removal of international troops, Kabul fell under Taliban control. Taliban fighters used gunfire and beatings to disperse crowds in major cities.
This change in authority might cause a big shift in what life looks like for women's rights and education especially.
The Taliban has promised amnesty to journalists and government workers and have also promised to preserve a certain amount of women's rights within Sharia.
The international community has questioned if the Taliban will follow through with these promises.
More on Afghanistan. As many as 6,000 people were on standby to be flown out of Kabul's airport last Thursday night and Friday morning, after a day-long pause in the processing of visas. Since August 13th, the U.S. military has evacuated about 7,000 people.
By August 14th, Biden said roughly 28,000 people had been evacuated from Kabul.
President Biden had one simple way of framing the decision to end the endless war in Afghanistan. National interest. The United States cannot afford to remain tethered to policies creating a response to a world as it was 20 years ago. We need to meet the threats where they are today.
While a large number of people have been evacuated, President Biden has left the door open to maintaining the American troop presence, now at 5,800 Marines and soldiers. But last Monday, a Taliban spokesman warned of consequences if the United States sticks around beyond August 31st.
As of last Tuesday, it's been reported that some Afghans have fled 1,400 miles across Iran to reach the Turkish border.
Last Tuesday, President Biden said the U.S. assisted in evacuating 70,000 people since August 14.
As of last Thursday, the U.S. had helped to evacuate more than 82,000 people from Kabul's international airport, including 4,500 U.S. citizens. About 1,500 Americans remain, as well as at least 250,000 Afghans who worked with the U.S.
If you're curious about how life is changing in Kabul, we've posted a link in our description written by the New York Times that helps get a clearer picture. Check it out.
Last Thursday afternoon, 13 U.S. troops and at least 90 civilians died during twin blasts near Kabul's airport.
An Islamic State affiliate known as ISIS-K took responsibility for what is the single deadliest incident for American forces in Afghanistan in a decade.
Updated on Monday morning, the total number of deaths in this attack from the bombing outside the Kabul airport climbed to 169 people.
But the U.S. pressed on with its evacuation efforts ahead of President Biden's Tuesday deadline, when American forces will completely withdraw. It also carried out a drone strike against the member of the Islamic State affiliate, which claimed responsibility for the attack.
If you're not up to date on the terrorist groups, you may be surprised to know that ISIS-K is a totally different group from the Taliban.
It's a new group altogether that has added to the devastation.
If you'd like to learn more about the threats against the mass evacuation, you can check out the links below.
Let's talk about things up in the air.
First, the U.S. government ordered 6 commercial airplanes to provide 18 planes to help with the mammoth evacuation effort in Afghanistan.
Following the Berlin airlift post-World War II, the government created a Civil Reserve Air Fleet, which allows it to compel airlines to lend a fuelage in emergency times.
The Civil Reserve Air Fleet is a bit rusty. It's only been activated 2 times in history, in Kuwait in 1990 to 1991, and Iraq in 2002 to 2003.
In this picture, 823 people were in the C-17 cargo plane, nearly 200 more than first reported, making it the largest number of passengers ever transported by the C-17 in its history.
But that's not all that's in the sky right now. The SpaceX Super Heavy booster completed a test fire and was assembled for a test fit with Starship 20.
The date for the test launch and its orbital flight is soon to be announced. For more of this story, check out space.com.
The Pentagon added a 4th American military base, Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, in New Jersey, to the list of temporary places where refugees will be taken upon arrival in the United States, Mr. Kirby said.
Mr. Kirby said that the addition of the base will bring the housing capacity to 25,000 in the upcoming weeks.
But that's not all. CEO Brian Chesky tweeted last Tuesday that the home rental platform AirBNB will temporarily house as many as 20,000 Afghan refugees, and asked hosts to open up their homes to meet that goal.
AirBNB will cover all the costs as part of its ongoing non-profit program AirBNB.org, which has housed 75,000 people in need since 2012.
So what will this look like for the U.S. more long term? Congress added 8,000 special immigrant visas intended for Afghan nationals who work for the U.S. government, and the Biden administration told humanitarian groups to prepare for as many as 50,000 Afghan refugees who aren't eligible for that visa to enter the U.S. under a new designation called
humanitarian parole.
In regards to things happening in the Middle East, Facebook and YouTube have banned the Taliban under the premise that it's a terrorist organization. Facebook additionally prohibits any praise, support, or representation of the group, even from non-Taliban accounts.
Twitter is more hands-off, only banning posts that exhibit glorification of violence, platform manipulation, and spam.
They'll need to decide whether to update these policies or double down on enforcing them soon, because the Taliban has been more active on LinkedIn than thought. Lately, 100 plus new accounts and Facebook pages claiming ties and or supporting the Taliban have cropped up since August 9th across Twitter and Facebook, according to a report by the New York Times.
More things happening around the world.
Maersk, the world's largest container shipping company, is placing a $1.4 billion order for 8 new ships that run on carbon-neutral fuel.
The move is the single largest step taken so far to decarbonize the global shipping industry, The Guardian wrote.
Maersk, a new ship runs on carbon-neutral methanol, which is produced from renewable sources like biomass.
Other low-carbon fuel options include ammonia, hydrogen, liquefied natural gas, and nuclear energy. Though each has pros and cons, some ships are even adding sails to some of its cargo ships to get a wind boost.
Destruction is also running rampant in multiple parts of the world due to destructive wildfires.
On Friday, Thea, Greece had wildfires continue to burn for the 4th day in a row northeast of the capital.
The wildfire in Russia is also making history as the largest record thus far.
The severe drought that has gripped much of the western U.S. is likely to continue into late fall, not helping the California wildfires that continue to burn.
Our thoughts are with these places and the people suffering from this damage.
Hey, it's Hadley with your weekend weather. Let's get started. This southern heat continues today and tomorrow with highs around 97, along with a good amount of cloud coverage. Sunday, it cools down just a little bit. We broke 90, guys, with highs of 89 and about a 30% chance of rain. So we're still looking at pretty high humidity levels, but hang in there, guys. Fall will come soon enough. Moving on to world weather, and speaking of rainfall, flooding in Tennessee has killed 21 people at least, and authorities are still looking for victims. The cause of this monstrosity, experts say, is undoubtedly triggered by climate change. Louisiana was hit by Hurricane Ida last Sunday. Mayor LaToya Cantrell of New Orleans ordered all citizens outside of the levee system to evacuate before the storm and is still ordering them to stay away due to storm damage. And as if they haven't seen enough disaster, Ida is heading directly towards Tennessee, classified as a tropical depression. And a quote for your Friday, whether you asked for one or not, Mark Twain once said, "It is best to read the weather forecast before praying for rain." That's it for me, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to send us your back to school pictures and Battle of the Bone pictures and videos on our Instagram at VBHS Pointer Pack News.
Don't forget to check out the description on our YouTube for the links to the bigger stories we've mentioned.
Lastly, we'd like to open up the comments for suggestions for what you guys would like to see published on our Instagram.
Take a look at last year's content and leave us a suggestion below.
Have a great weekend, stay safe, wear your seatbelts, drink some water, tell someone you love them, and have a great week.
Yeah.